So, okay, time to find person. 12, 12, 12 2, 12 3, 12 3, okay. Oh. What does Black's Knight do? Okay. Hello there. You're the one I'm looking for. Dramatis Personae. Ah, okay. Kate knows of someone seeking your acquaintance. Well then, let's talk about it. Welcome, my lady. There's a young maiden here who will speak with you. It's a cat. Miss, the adventurer has arrived. And here she is, the liberator of both Doma and El Amigo in the flesh. I'm Lena. How do you speak this? Mirilla, corresponding for the Raven. You may recognize me for my expose on the secret lives of the homunculi. The fuck? Is there a problem? Minji? That would be my sister. People mistake us all the time. Same profession, you see, and we do bear a passing resemblance. When last I heard, she was still assigned to the Botanist Guild in Gridania. Poor thing. But enough small talk. It's not for nothing that I've been standing here since yesterday morning on the off chance to pass by. No, I'm here because... Actually, it's because you heard it from Alma. I am but an observer. Alma, come! I found her! She's the one with a nice dress. And she's small. Is this the adventure from when we spoke? Indeed it is. Please, I beg of you, find my father. You are his only hope. It's alright, Alma. We're attracting unwanted attention. Might I suggest a change of venue? We will await you before the Prima Vista, the theater bar just a bird at the airship landing. Oh boy. I'm not sure. I think this was the idiot that doesn't know what relic weapon was. But I'm unsure if he really was it. Or if it was another one. What the fuck did you do? Okay, list again. As I said before, I think it's better we continue this conversation in privacy of the young lady's barge. It's not that I don't trust anyone here, it's simply that I don't trust anyone here. Gate guard! Minigumo has been instructed to look out for you. In future, speak with him when you wish to gain admission to the docks. Thank you for coming, Nu. You're probably wondering why I've summoned you to an airship, and galleon one at that. Allow me to explain the shuttle. Wait, what? Galleon airship? What? Nani? I am confused. I am very confused. What is going on? Okay. Why are you constructing a fake Bahamut? Could you please not? The Prima Vista serves both a stage and home to the Magical Imperial Theater Company. You can keep that drug in your drawers. No one here is a member of the Imperial Army. Nor there are any spies within the troop, at least no known spies. Okay. Ask anyone and they will readily attest. The majestic Imperial Theater Company are the finest spectators of the dramatic arts to be found anywhere in the 3 great continents and beyond. They have admirers through the Empire and its territories, even boast a sizable following Kudania, hence my session to the story. It's a little known fact outside Galorman at least, that the late Emperor was a devoted patron of the arts who supported various theater troops to tune much coin. Indeed, Solus was so enormous of the majestic players that he ordered the construction of this very airship, that the troop might perform in every corner of the Empire. When his grandson took the throne, however, everything changed. Now, all theater troops, domestics, and foreign must submit their works to approval of the Central Imperial Board of Censors. If a play is deemed vulgar or inflammatory, it is banned, and the troop denied their rights of transit. The worst offenders, well, they are never heard of again. Heard from again. This policy has effectively left playwrights with one or two options: compromise their creative integrity to curry favor of his audience, or put down their quills altogether. The principles of Majestic, however, chose the third option, to express his stiff approval of the new emperor's policy politely, in ostensibly unpolitical works. Brave forgive me for my earlier outburst. I'm Alma Bas Lextail, daughter of Principal Geronis Zen Lextail. These names! Maybe you have heard of my father's last blade, a Zodiac Brave story? On the surface, it's an innocent retelling of a well-known Gallian fairy tale, hardly read for Sansa's attention, but beneath it's something quite different. In fact, it's a central fail to spot when they approved the manuscript for public performance. The play quickly became a huge success. The common folk loved its fantastical story, while learned classes appreciated its true message. By the time the Imperial Board of Censors realized the mistake, it was too late, no longer in a position to prohibit the performance outright without admitting fault. They took aim at the company's purse strings instead. Before long, noble patrons began to withdraw their support, fearing to be associated with the troupe. And by the end, even the learned felt compelled to feign ignorance. By bleeding majestic of their fungus, the censors robbed them of their voice. It's hard to read this in a higher voice. And none of this was made any clearer as why you're here, right? Hello, Melina. Sid? Sid, how are you in every Raid story? Except Eden. Okay, maybe you're in Eden too, I don't know. But it's weird. I've known General since we were studying the Magic Academy. When I heard his daughter was in Kugano looking to enlist the aid of an adventurer, I felt compelled to give her your name. Sorry for not announcing myself sooner, old friend. Jerome and I were from different worlds, but that only served to fuel our friendship. Many were the nights we would prattle into our wee small hours, warmth lagoons of pale ale numbing our minds to the other's native ideologies. Yet, no matter where our conversation began, it would inevitably end with him telling her how he was going to change the Empress from the inside out. The truth was his path to the people's heart. Even after Empire forced him from his home, Genos never gave up hope that his work might change the world. The story is interesting. Art will never stand against artificial bounds and borders, man-made worlds and misguided wars. It's in such times of unnecessary that we must need embrace our calling and take to the skies so other might do the same. What I'm trying to say, rather poorly I concede, is not all Gallians are hewn from the same stone. Just as there are those who pledge their lives to the Empire and will never think to question the authorities of its leaders, there are those like Alma's father and myself who love their country, does not blind into its flaws. Still, trying to selling a sack of sunflower to an Alamegan or Dorman who has watched his family consume the flames of a magic reaper, well... How many Ossians adventurers do you think would leap at the opportunity to help an Imperial search for a missing father, and in Gallian Todi no less. But you're different. You have seen enough to know what the line between good and evil is. Not different by race, color, or creed. Assassin's Creed? Peak is just quiet, okay. So, what say you? I could never turn my back on a damsel in distress. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Now that you understand the nature of the task, perhaps Alma could provide some insight as to where we might begin our search. Shortly before my father disappeared, he began to work on his next play, a successor to the Zodiac Brave story. But I might getting ahead of myself. Please, follow me. Why are the cutscenes so long? Peek? Peek, peek?
No.
Ah, okay, you're alive again. Was? Ich hab mir Sorgen gemacht.
Ja.
Though adventurer and hardship, young Deligia, a buyer of a common blood becomes a hero, culminating to the birth of a magical kingdom of ivalice. But that is where the story ends. There are simply no records of anything that follows. Was Principal Jonas simply going to invert something? My father believes that we had discovered evidence for a second hero. One, those efforts were largely unnoticed, but without him Delia would never have risen to the throne. His was the next tale he wanted to tell, the true Zodiac Brave story. Second hero? According to my father's studies, this young man was one of Delia's closest friends and confidants. That is, until the untimely past of Delia's sister forced the two apart. Yet the unnamed hero continued to provide aid to his friends by thwarting the machinations of those who would scheme against Delia, those paving the way for the pauper's rise to regent. You must forgive me, but I've never heard anyone make such claims. How exactly did your father come by this information? That is a long story. One which begins and ends with Germans becoming lost in the very legend he sought to lay bare. Even as far back as our Archimedes days, ivalice had Jerome firmly in its grasp. He flatly refused to believe the story was just a fairy tale. And so, when he was finally driven out of Golemont, it was only natural that he would choose this of all places as his refuge. Was it not Alma? That is correct, Master Golemont. It has been long since my father believed that of the ruins of ancient evil lies beyond Naxia, buried beneath the sand of the Dalamasca Desert. Poor Dalamasca, the kingdom prospered in relative isolation for countless generations, until the Emperor came calling. When not touring, my father would organize expeditions into the Dalaman Desert to search for proof of ivalice's existence. Sometimes he would bring back strange artifacts, ancient tomes and crystals, crystals, unlike any others. My father called them auracite and claimed they were vital to proving his theories. This is one such crystal. By the 12, it's magnificent. Ivalice legends tells of crystals beneath banquet by the gods, and unto those who will be kings. It's during his quest to gather auracite that the young Dalai rises to his prominence. Peak? Wird es sich stören, wenn Shadow mit einem Voice reinkommt, beziehungsweise wir rübergehen?
Nö,
Okay.
eigentlich nicht.
Shadow, you're free to go. I must have heard a tale of 1,000 times by my nursemaid. But it's all that it ever was, a tale. My father would often tell us how the auracite spoke to him. At the time, we assumed he was speaking figuratively, that the stones spewed rose his mouth. But then he began to act strangely. How so? Following our arrival here in Hingashi, my father spent most of the time cloistered in his chambers, poring over his past research, and though he was alone, we could often hear him in conversation. It was not uncommon for my father to recite all the lines as he wrote them, but it soon became clear that it was something else. It was if he was talking to my mother who passed several winters gone. What? My mother who passed several winters gone. Might this not have been out of mere loneliness, or perhaps a strain of your flight from Golmon? Possibly, but that would not explain the voices which answered him. Nani?
Alba, who are these people? I told you I did not require any help to finding father, especially from outsiders.
So good of you to join us, Ramza. Allow me to introduce...
möchtest? We may be starting by the Empire, but we're still Galeons and we will still have our bride. Unlike some, it seems, we require neither the aid nor the pity of foreign ramble.
Ramza, du Potsau, halt's Maul! Have you forgotten where you are, brother? It is we who are the foreign rebel. This land and its customs are all unknown to us. We will be fools to conduct our search with a proven guide. Your sister's right, Ramza. As for my good friend here, your mistress is ill-praised. I will personally vouch for her character. In all the time I have known her, she was never once let anything as insignificant as race or creed color her judgment. You are lucky to have her.
But we would have you, Master Golemont. Why do you refuse us?
You know why. Until this affair with Omega is resolved, my hands are tied. It pains me to refuse you and your sister, but it pains me more to leave Jerome's into his fate. I am sorry.
You don't need to apologize. I let my emotions get the better of me. After what happened in Rabanstery, it may be time to admit that we are out of depth.
My brother's last expedition met a tragedy in the ruins of the capital city. He barely escaped with his life.
The Empire turned Rabanstery into a death trap.
You were a fool to set foot there without proper escort.
I realized that now must go on. But at the time, I saw an opportunity to rescue our father, and I took it.
Whatever led you to believe your father was in Dalaman's capital?
My father's fascination with the ivalice legend began with a trip to the antediluvian city, long before the war. Call it a premonition, but something tells me that is where he has returned. Now you must excuse me, I need some time to think. And give me some vodka.
And then, Alma, I shall leave you and your brothers in new capable hands. She has been ever repaid my trust with interest. You will do way to grant her yours. Thank you, Master Galmont. I will not forget his kindness. Holy moly, die Cutscenes sind lang. Okay, but let's complete the first step of those.
Bap.
Bap!
Bap, bap.
Master Galon seems to think highly of you, so I will withhold judgment until after Damalska.
Wenn's niemand, mit dem man Deutsch reden kann.
Aber. Deutsch. Guten Abend. Oh, dass meine Hände so am Frieren.
So, okay, but since I can't go out of here, do I?
Yeah, you can.
I can, okay.
You can leave.
Wenn ihr jetzt beide Englisch redet, gehe ich erstens und zweitens hau ich euch dann.
Sorry. Ich weiß gar nicht, welche Sprache gesprochen werden soll gerade.
Deutsch.
Ich würde sagen, wir sprechen Deutsch und wir lesen auf Englisch vor. Ich habe keine Ahnung, was ich sonst tun sollte.